This is day 233, the obligation that feels right. I woke up this morning thinking about moral obligation. The question arrived without warning, the way certain thoughts do when the mind is still quiet. If I walked outside and saw a neighbor collapsed on the sidewalk, would I be morally obligated to help? Most people would say yes, but why? Moral obligation is the idea that some actions are not merely preferable, polite, or legal, but something we ought to do because of moral reasons. There are things we avoid because they carry social consequences, but do we have an obligation on its merits alone? If you make a serious promise to someone, keeping it is not just convenient, it seems like something you owe. That feels different from following a rule to avoid punishment. It feels like duty. If moral obligation is a kind of duty grounded in moral reasons, then what are those reasons? They may be subject to interpretation, but there seems to be constants we all must collectively abide by because how else would we form societies? The harder question is whether we actually have moral obligations or whether we just act as though we do. I think the strongest answer is yes, at least in a basic sense. We have moral obligations because other people's experience, interests, and suffering matter in ways that are not reducible to our preferences. Once I recognize that others can be harmed, helped, deceived, respected, or betrayed, I have reasons to treat them in certain ways. Those reasons do not disappear just because ignoring them would benefit me. A moral obligation exists when another being's well-being, dignity, rights, or legitimate claims give me a reason to act that I should not treat as optional. That is not a perfect definition, but it's close enough to work with, I suppose. A moral skeptic might say there are no objective obligations, only social rules, emotions, or preferences. On that view, you ought not to murder really means strongly disapprove of murder or society forbids murder, but moral skepticism has a cost. It struggles to explain why cruelty, betrayal, exploitation, or even injustice are truly wrong rather than merely disliked. Most of us do not experience morality as just personal taste. Do not abuse children feels very different from do not put pineapple on pizza. I think we do have moral obligations, but not because the universe hands us an official written rulebook. We have them because we are beings who can affect other beings, understand reasons, recognize harm, and make commitments, and participate in relationships where others have legitimate claims on us. A moral obligation exists when another being's well-being gives me reason to act that I should not treat as optional. Last night my dog got sick. I had to take care of him. After cleaning him up and giving him a bath, he laid in my lap and looked up at me. He seemed to have calmed down and was giving me a look that seemed to say, "Thank you," or as close to an expression of gratitude as I have seen an animal make. This act did not benefit me in any way. My self-interest was not served at all. But I went to bed feeling calm because I think I was fulfilling a moral obligation, and that somehow just felt right. The next time you feel that pull to act, even when it costs you something, pay attention to it. That feeling is not weakness, it is recognition. It is the quiet acknowledgement that someone else's need has placed a claim on you. And if you're choosing to honor it, that is where obligation lives, not in rules, in the moment that you decide to act.